Hey guys, Harry here and welcome to another video. As you may or may not know, in October I turned 25, and if you haven't already assumed by the title of this video, these are basically 30 things. I think there's 30, maybe a couple more, I don't remember. These are a couple things I want to do before I'm 30, just because I'm getting old. I'm halfway to 50, so I thought may as well compile a little list of things that I'm planning to accomplish, and then over the next few years I can tick them off. Because if you may not notice, I am skinnier. And that leads us on to number one, which is get fit. So probably June just gone, I started going to the gym again, and I'm just treading the weight. You can check out my Instagram just for stuff to do with fitness. I set up a second one just so it's not the art related one. But I'll leave all those links on the screen or down below or whatever if you want to go check it out. But so far I've lost just under 40 kilograms, I think. Started at 122, I'm now 86. So whatever the hell that is. Well, 86.5 because of Christmas, but hey, what are you going to do? So, because of that, leaning on to the second one, I want to be able to lift more than my body weight. So at the moment, I can deadlift 85 5 for 5, so I reckon I could easily do it if I just tried, but I haven't exactly done it yet, so we'll see what happens. There goes Facebook. Number 3 is to run a 5k, or more in fact to run a half marathon, because I'm thinking I used to run a lot, so I want to get back into it. It's the one thing that like my training is lacking on. I can't run for toffee. Everything else is solid for what I wanted or what I was doing. It's a million times better. But in terms of like the strategy I've got, I will eventually run a half marathon, so it makes sense in that lead up to it to do a 5k as well. So just tick them both, put them in the same thing. Number 4 is learn to rock climb. Never done it. Seems interesting. Good for the grip strength, so interesting. Next is to climb the 3 peaks. I have done Snowdon, but I haven't done Scarfell, Pike, or Nevis. So I think I want to do them all individually, and then I might try the actual 24-hour challenge, but I guess we'll see what happens. It depends how long I'm in the country, which leads us on to the next one, which is I want to travel more. On top of that, I also want to move to another country and stay there for a year plus. So it depends how long I stay in the country for the other ones, but once again, I've got 5 years, well 4 in like a bit years to do it, so it's easy enough. Next is to learn a second language. So obviously whichever country I move to, because it is going to happen, I want it to be a language that I don't know. And as such, I have got an interview for an English teaching job in Japan in a couple of weeks. So it's probably going to be Japanese, just to throw it out there. Next, I also want to revisit my place of birth, so go back to Canada, White Rock, Vancouver, and because I haven't been there since I was 14, 15, something like that. So I'd like to go back and just, see the place again. It's one of those. Next is obviously move to a new city. So I'm not gonna count this if I go to another country. It's more when I come back, or if I'm over there and then I decide to move somewhere else in the country, I want to move to a different city because I've never actually lived. I guess it's more I want to live in the city, like the hustle bustle of a city. Never done it. I'm suburban here, close to rural, so it's not the whole in the city vibe. Number 11, take a road trip, and on the back of that, get my bike license, because why not be able to do a bike road trip as well as a car road trip. And on that, convert a van into a home. Obsessed with it. If you could see my YouTube history, the amount of van conversions I've looked at, that is a hobby I want. I want to convert a van into a home, just because it's cool as anything. Next is get lost for the day and find your way back. Simple enough, just with no aim. So once again, I think this is easily accomplished once I go to a new place, because you just basically disconnect, don't take your phone, go out and get lost, and then have to find your way back, because you never know what you're going to find when you go off the beaten path. Next is shave my head. I need a haircut now, but I don't think I'm going to shave it because of the interview, so yeah. But I'm kind of getting really annoyed with having haircuts, because I've started to like it short again, so I just buzz cut it, because I've got proper hair clippers for my beard. Why don't I just shave my head? So I'm going to do it at some point, so I may as well thought, why not before the time of 30? Can't have all hard ones on here. Some of them have got to be, accomplishable. Next is do something that scares the hell out of me, so probably, I don't know, bungee jumping, or doesn't have to be adrenaline based, just when something comes up that I'm terrified to do, I'm going to make sure I do it, just for that experience. Next is read 50 plus books. If you've been on this channel for a while, started off as a book review channel, a lot of manga, but books, I haven't, the last time I read a novel, an actual book, actually it wasn't that long ago, it was probably like September, November, because I've read something for uni. I also want to write a book, so in my case it's probably going to be more along the lines of like a collection of short stories or poetry, but saying that, I'm not going to like knock off that I might actually write a novel, because there's a couple ideas that I'd like to write about. It's just, you know, I'd rather like write a bunch of small segmented stories in a larger like world than have one overarching story in the world. I don't know, that's more interesting to me. But anyway, moving on. Discover something new that I love. So a passion will come out of nowhere and then I'll fall in love with it. So this might not happen, but it's one of those I'd like to happen. Next is start a collection. Obviously I collect like books and manga and stuff like that, but I haven't bought manga in years, probably like 2 or 3 years. So yeah, I'd like to have, I guess it'd be better to say a unique collection, so something that's not like really that common. But alas, like every mountain and hill I've climbed, I've always kept the stone from the top of it, so you could couple it with that, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. Next is to give blood, because I've never given, well, I've given blood before, but I haven't since I was like a kid, so I'd like to give blood again. Next is to volunteer more, because I barely do any volunteering, so if something comes up, I need to do more of it. Attend a major sporting event, so like the Superbowl final or the Olympics, which was annoying because I never got tickets to the one in London, or like the Wimbledon final, so something of that grand scale, like the final or such. I'd like to attend a major event. Next is to sell my art. So I have actually sold art before, but nothing like, I haven't done it in since my first year of uni, I think. So I'd like to actually just start selling art as like a side thing. Next is to go to an auction and buy something, because I've never been to an auction and it just seems cool as hell. Invest, invest, invest. Everyone's always saying like you should save and all that stuff, and saving for like going to Japan and stuff like that, but investing is something that I really need to get onto, and I will make sure I do it before the time I'm 30, when I've got some disposable income, when I'm working full time. But yes, invest. Next is to go geocaching. I have the app on my phone. I've had it there for about a month and I've still not done it. So it's an easy doable one and I will do it soon, but I want to go geocaching because it just sounds so fun. Next is to make my own gin, which I haven't got a clue how to do it. I'm assuming you distill, I don't know, vodka maybe with spices? Something like that? I'll have to Google it and find out, but I'd like to make my own little batch gin. Selling it, completely different story because that's a whole ball ache, but I'd like to make my own legal moonshine, baby. Next is to plant a tree, because I've never planted a tree, and if I'm gonna die, at least then there'll be a tree. So plant a tree. And finally is to disconnect. So disconnect for at least a month, no internet, maybe even no phone or television. Completely disconnect for a month. So I don't know when I'll do this or when I'll be able to do it, because obviously you need a phone for like work and stuff. But basically to full on disconnect. And on that point, goodbye.